Yeah, this is Israelite 320, and I'm coming at you again with some more real inspiring information you might see. Today, I want to talk to you about the origin of Muslims and where they really from. Muslims are not from Mecca; they're from Petra. They're not Muslims; they're Nabateans, and their history is Petra. So, the questions I have for you, Muslims, really, you Nabateans, is you from Mecca, Petra, or you from Mecca? Is the history Petra and you Nabateans, or is this the story Muslims and you from Mecca? So which one is it? Religion is a practice, and practice is physical, worldly. And God says all practice leads to lawlessness. Whether if it's a skill practice, a religious practice, or a government practice. So if I keep practicing, I will be conformed, reprobate, or indoctrinate with this practice. And this practice is physical. It has nothing to do with the spirit. Either you practice religion or you exercise faith. God, Christ already said, God is a spirit and we must worship him spirit and truth. Or you will practice your skill. You'll practice your trade. That's exactly what Elijah Muhammad was. He was a merchant. He always practiced his skills. He was all for himself. It was never for no one else. We all could be messengers of God. So what's the difference between what Elijah Muhammad can do that we can't do for God? But if you read the book of John 11:48, let us do away with Christ before Rome come take our place in nation. That's exactly what Caiaphas was saying in John 11:48. Let us do away with Christ before Rome come take our place in nation. Because your place in nation started with Ishmael/Hagar. Hagar was related to the Nabateans out of Petra. The Nabateans were built Petra. Hagar was a bondservant. Yes, Arabic Muslims, yeah, they came out of Abraham, but it was Sarah, the free nation, and it was Hagar, the flesh nation, bondservant. So Ishmael's mother was Hagar, and she was a bondservant. So when Abraham was not around, hey, God had Sarah to get rid of Hagar. God is not with no flesh nation because the 7 nations of God. Listen, Abraham faith nation, Isaac birthright nation, and Jacob Israel nation. That's 3. The other 4 nations, you have Esau and you have Ishmael. Esau is Europeans and Asian descent. Ishmael is Arabs and Iranians. So this is a total of 7 nations. 3 spirit, 4 flesh. Esau and Jacob were brothers. Esau and Jacob were brothers. Jacob sees spirit, Esau sees flesh. Jacob represents Israel, Esau represents the house of Israel. Esau was with practice. Jacob was with spirit, with exercise and faith, related to the strength of faith. So you can have an attitude of faith, so you can walk by faith. So these are 2, Esau and Jacob. Both of them, one was a spirit nation, one was a flesh nation. So the Esau goes to the flesh nation, and Jacob went to the spirit nation. That's why I said that's why Jacob's part of the 3 nations of God. 3 spirit nations, but it's 7 nations of God. And Jacob was the 3 nations, the spirit nation, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Ishmael and Isaac were brothers. Once again, Ishmael was with religion, and Ishmael was with religion and a bondservant, please man. Isaac sees spirit, and he's a free servant. Because Isaac sees spirit. Isaac is the birthright nation, so he sees spirit. Ishmael, flesh nation, bondservant. Hagar was his mother. Hagar was related to the Nebateans out of Petra. Because that's where they started, Petra. There is no archaeological finds in Mecca. They have cranes all over the place, and years ago, they can't find it. No archaeological finds. So they build a story. The Nephilims have came up with a way to build a place, a nation behind an agreement to get rid of Christ. Prophet Muhammad came after Christ. So they built a nation. They erased their history with Petra and created a story called Mecca / Elijah Muhammad / Muslims. There was an agreement. But with time of Christ, it was no Prophet Muhammad. It was no Muslim. They was talking about Abraham, talking about the laws of Moses. That's what high priest and the rest of them was talking about. They killed Christ for the Vatican / Nepal. That's what they did. They did this for them. If you say you pray to Allah and you love God, but how can you say you love God when you don't love me? That's prejudice. How you love God and don't love me? If you got to love me to love God, and you see me, but you don't see him and say you love him, it's Muslims and Arabs is Ishmael. Asians and Europeans, that's Esau. This is Satan's seed. The dragon in Revelations with the 12, with the 10 horns and the seven heads is a nation, is an empire. But the 10 horns is 5 Confederate, 5 Muslim nations called red and green. We celebrate Muslims and Esau Confederate nation every Christmas called red and green. Israel's have 5 retaliation on the 5 Muslim nations / really Nabatean nations. Israel is in full retaliation. But they dissolate one, that's Gaza. Israel have gave up land from 93. So they want Gaza back. Israel's going to bring the Magog War. This Magog War might take off next week. This Magog War is coming. Are you ready to flee out of Matthew 24:17, out of Luke 17:31? Stay on top of the mountaintop. Don't even report to the field. Leave what's in there. Because on that day, the Lamb of God is handing out invisible plane tickets to make it home. If to make it home, you have to diligently carry out this spiritual cleaning process. It's called a New Testament exit, and it's coming as soon as Israel be desolated on that day. Out of Luke 17:31, Matthew 24:17. But Satan's seed he's using. His seed is Muslims. They call Ishmael. They call Nabateans. Last Ishmael. And it's gonna be 5 of them the Muslim nations about to desolate. The Saudi prince he already exposing who we are and let us know what's going on. He don't care. What we're gonna do, keep looking on. Time is running out. Time is running out. This 10/11 could be the 10th month. Will it happen on the 11th day? Will it happen next Friday? Will it happen next Saturday? This is 10/11. If you stay on 11:11 and you turn to Israel, that's 12. 11:11 plus 12, that's a 7 in numerology. Complete by God's design will allow God to fulfill the promise through you, brother. You're staying strong for the kingdom. You must be Israel to go home. He's coming to get the birthright, Israel, the first fruits, the working threes who Christ come to get. Will you be in that number? Will you continue to keep turning your back on the Lord? With this apostasy, you strive with this world, working every day. It's called adultery. You engage it in idolatry. It's called fornicating against the Lord. So your two sins, apostasy and idolatry. But at the same time, we have been praising Satan do work daily. And our concerns was forbidden meal. We were striving with this world instead of striving with God. Jacob strived with God. So he sees spirit to strive with God. If you see flesh, you will strive with the world. That means you represent the house of Israel, not Israel. You must represent Israel, spiritual Israel. Strive with God, and your concerns be the birthright. When you strive with this world, hey, everything changes. You can't be hot for God in your own city. Jeremiah 38, verse 2. We're headed to a 7-year purge. What will you do? Is it really worth all this money you making, and this luxury you living in comfort, ride nice cars? Come on now, is it really worth it? Laugh now, cry later. Or you keep laughing now, laugh now, cry later. Or cry now, laugh later. The first is last and the last is first. You know what it is. The second lawless is already in effect concerning COVID. You call the mask wearing, your abomination practice. Now desolation is coming. Abomination of desolation. The Magog war is coming. After each calamity, there was 3 spiritual cleaning processes. The first calamity was the 3/11, COVID. And that was the gathering season was a spiritual cleaning process. The sorrows built the temple. The sorrows built the temple. Birth, praise, strengthened faith. So at the same time, the second calamity was the 10/11, the Magog war, which is what we're bringing today. That spiritual cleaning process behind that Magog 10/11 war is called a New Testament Exodus. It might last 40 days or less. Remember, God had no problem getting you out of Egypt, had a problem getting Egypt out of you. Money can't save us on a day of desolation versus visitation. Isaiah 10:3. Who will we leave it with? Come up out your practice, Muslims. You're hating Jews, you're hating people that love God. How can you love God and you hate people? That's prejudice. You persecute God people all over again, just like they was talking to Paul. When they was talking to Paul, Paul said, Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? If you in your thoughts, you see flesh. If you see spirit, if you in your heart and in your spirit, you see love. It's all about what you see. You either see flesh, spirit, or love. You either see flesh, nature, or spirit. You're working threes in what you see. Don't be deceived. You're at your darkest hour right now. We're in our darkest hour right now. Israel was just attacked last night by Iran. Desolation is coming. Would you meet me on the mountain on the day of desolation? Leave me a comment below. Will you meet me on the mountain? Or will you stay in your housetop? Will you stay in your houses? Which one will it be? The kids are already gone if they're under 12. Desolation is coming. This is Israelite 320.